everybody, and welcome to the Backbone Podcast, where common sense still makes sense in a world that is sick and only getting sicker. And I tell you, Satan is on the rampage. He just will not stop or give up, because every day, every single day, we are getting a story or an event or a happening that just out nuts the nut from the previous day. We had the crazy Midtown shooter, and we're still trying to figure out what that's all about. We then had the maniacs who are upset about blue jeans and the Sydney Sweeney. And today, as you can see from the banner, a Virginia city councilman was literally doused with gasoline and set on fire. Now, it's not as simple as that, as if this gets any crazier. And we'll get into what the twist is. But let's get to the facts first. So the city councilman, Lee Vogler, was set ablaze today by a lunatic who stormed into his workplace carrying 5 gallons of fuel and igniting the lawmaker this morning, Wednesday, in the latest sickening attack against elected officials or against people of status. This happened in Danville City. Danville City Councilman Lee Vogler was allegedly, we have to put allegedly, of course, set on fire by Shootsy Michael Buck Hayes, age 29. Vogler is 38, I believe. Listen to this guy's name. Who names these people? Shootsy Michael Buck Hayes. He barged into a place called Showcase Magazine, a monthly publication, and he dumped a 5-gallon bucket of gasoline on this councilman around 7:30 a.m. this morning. Now, according to the Danville police and the outlets, the man just walked right into this building. So apparently there's no real security in this place, and apparently he knows when he's there, what his hours are, and of course we're going to get to why and how he knows that. Vogler, 38, managed to escape the office and ran to the front of the building, but Hayes followed him and torched him ablaze. This is outrageous. Andrew Brooks, who is a publisher at this magazine warehouse or magazine headquarters, was quoted as saying, the type of senseless act of violence has to stop. He was emotional on camera, so I'm not going to show it because I hate when men act like women. He described the horrifying event as Hayes forced his way into the offices and drenched the councilman with the fire accelerant, and I quote, end quote. Also quoting, "You do not have the right as a human being to get upset with somebody enough to lash out and attempt to harm them in any way, much less this way." Oh, really? First responders, of course, arrived to aid the poll, or the councilman, whatever you want to refer to him as, who identified his suspected attacker at the scene before he was airlifted to a hospital. So he was conscious and he knew who the guy was, and he was able to point him out. Now, the extent of Vogler's injuries at the current time are not known, but Brooks, the publisher, did point out that he was awake and talking following the incident. He was sent to a burn center in Lynchburg, which I guess is also in North Carolina. A little bit about Hayes. He's a Danville resident, initially fled the horrific scene and was captured in his vehicle several blocks away. He allegedly lit the local politician ablaze, according to police. They have to use allegedly, of course, all the time. Authorities said Vogler and Hayes are known to each other. Okay. But added that the attack stemmed from a personal matter that is not related to the councilman's election or his position or his political views. The deranged arsonist has been charged with first-degree murder and aggravated malicious wounding. How do you get him for first-degree murder if the guy is dead? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. He's being held without bond right now in Danfield City Jail. The investigation continues. Now, let's look at the man himself. This is Stutzy Hayes. We're going to hear his. Now, he looks pretty much like a milk totes tool, and we're going to find out why pretty soon, as there is a twist in the story. This is indeed personal. Here's Stutzy Hayes talking on X.
Wake up every morning, and I go to bed every night genuinely thinking about ways to make Danville a better place. I grew up here. I came back here after college. I'm raising my kids here now. It's very personal for me. It's very personal for me, the future of this city. And I want to see Danville lifted to heights that we've never seen before. I want to see the city be better than it's ever been before. A safer Danville, a stronger Danville, a more prosperous Danville, great schools, an abundance of jobs, safe streets. That's what it's about for me. And it's always been about that. But I can tell you, as a father, having a soon-to-be 10-year-old and a 6-year-old, it's deeply personal to me. And I coach a lot of kids. I'm around young folk. I'm literally looking at 25 of them right now on the other side of this camera. I want them to have a Danville that is better than what we have now and what we had growing up. And that's not to say we haven't had great times in Danville. We have, but we can have even better times in the future. And I want that for each and every person in the city.
All right, so there he is. He sounds political. It sounds like he's almost running for office, but there is, as there sometimes seems to always be, a romantic twist. It is alleged now. It's alleged that Vogler, the city councilman, was having an affair with this guy Hayes's wife, soon to be ex-wife, because she has filed for divorce. She filed for divorce 2 weeks ago, apparently. Now, we don't know. This is all speculation, of course, but they do know each other. This guy Hayes knows where he works. He knows his schedule. And there doesn't seem to be any other political reason for this. There doesn't seem to be any, administrative reasoning for this. This is personal. And it doesn't get any more personal than this. Now, again, this is all alleged. We're all hearing this, second hand, third hand, fourth hand. I don't know how true this is, but it seems like his wife, Mary Alice, has filed for divorce. It's right down there, July 14th, 2005. And there he is right there, unhinged. Now, I think there was a picture of the two of them together. Of course, I won't be able to find it now, but it just goes to show you. There she is. No, wait. It just goes to show you, though. It just goes to show you that no matter what you do, you could be a good guy. You could have the average 9-to-5 job, provide, help her squeeze out a couple of kids, make a normal life, a normal everyday life for your children. But it's never enough for these women. It just isn't. because they always look for where the greener grass is. It doesn't matter if you are loyal to them. It doesn't. It does matter if you're loyal to them, because if you're not loyal to them, they will stick with you because you're dangerous. But if you marry them, if you make them a mother, you give them a home, a car, you let them, be a soccer mom, they will find a way to bring evil and horror into your world. Now, this guy, we don't know who he is. This guy Hayes, the attacker, we don't know who he is. He seems like, your average everyday tool, which he probably was for her. Yeah, he mowed the grass, he took out the garbage, he dealt with her bullshit because he wanted to make her happy. Then you get this dickhead councilman who wears a suit. He knows the jargon. He can, politicians have that charisma. They know how to talk to people. She saw him as a powerful person. And bang. She gave it up to him. Because that's what women do. The powerful, dangerous, well, I don't know if this guy was an alpha male, but in their eyes, an alpha male is a very attractive prospect. She already knows her husband. She's over it. But the councilman, that's a story. Nobody cares about you sleeping with your husband. The sex after a while it just burns out. But it's a story for that cabal of other broads in her life that she can tell. She can tell the story of, we snuck off to this motel or this hotel, and he introduced me to this one, he introduced me to that one. Do you know what he does? He pulls my hair. These are the things that they talk about. Especially married women. You'd have to be insane today. If you're a young man thinking about getting married, you'd have to be literally insane. Because again, it doesn't matter what you do. The nicer you treat them, the worse it is. Now, this guy, of course, is a wounded man. He probably had a very weak father also. He probably had no one to turn to, or no one that he had confidence in to turn to. And he went over the edge. He just simply went over the edge. And guess what? Now his life is over. He's going to go to jail he's going to get 20 years at least. At least. And what's that broad going to do? She's going to take those kids, take that house, and she'll probably in a couple of years find some other fool that will provide for her and raise her kids. The councilman, his career is over. His career probably is over too, because his wife, he's married with kids, I'm assuming. She's going to know about, his wife's going to know about the affair, and that's it. He's in North Carolina, so that's a pretty conservative place. So, he's not, this whole scandal thing now is going to end his career. But the guy that you really feel for, the guy who got burned in this whole thing, pardon the pun, his momentary lapse of weakness completely ruined his life. And he ruined his life for a strumpet, because that's what she is. And nobody, unless you're defending your children's lives, no one is worth going to jail for. No one. Especially if you're ruining your life. You walk away. You want to shame her? pack up your bags, walk away. You want to get divorced, honey? Go ahead. Go have your hoe season. See what that gets you. The best revenge for a man is not setting another guy on fire. Look, what the councilman did, he's an asshole. Okay, and to be honest, not to sound like a hypocrite, because I'm not going to be a hypocrite, I've done the same thing the councilman has done. And I think some of us on here have too. But he only did what guys do. You see a young chick, she offers it, you take it. All's fair in love and war, right? You hope you don't get put on fire, but this guy Hayes' best bet would have been not to go with violence. It would have been to walk away, redevelop himself, recreate himself, evolve, and have a new purpose in life. That's what we've been saying on this podcast since its inception in March. Develop, create, evolve, and have a purpose. This guy didn't have any of those things. And you just wish that somebody would have been there for him. Because now his life is over. And she'll have a story to tell, because now she's the homewrecker times 2, because she broke her home. She's going to break this councilman's home, because he's getting divorced. And she's going to get off scot-free in all this, probably. And she'll find another guy, trust me. A couple of years, some other guy will be in her bed, raising those 2 kids. There's always a sucker, trust me. And that poor, well, I don't say poor, he's an idiot, but this guy here, the assailant, the assaulter, he's going to be rotting in jail. He's not going to get out of jail until he's probably older than me, if he gets out at all. And that's a shame. That's a shame of it. That's the shame of it, because this was all done over a street girl. That's all she is. That's all she is. And now this guy's paying for it with the rest of his life. He's not going to see his children forever. And that is a horrible, horrible attack. And you just wish you can. Oh, geez, you can't talk to these guys. They go absolutely nuts. They lose their minds with this stuff. Now, on a side note, we found out today that ESPN has fired Shannon Sharp after his escapades with a 20-year-old Only Fools chick. He gets fired $1 million to this girl in a settlement. Okay, $50 million. And the dude loses his job. And it just goes to show. It just goes to show, man, that and Shannon Sharp has nobody to blame but himself, because he's done this over and over and over again. He got fired from CBS for the same thing many years ago, and he just can't control himself. He just cannot control himself, and now it's going to cost him $50 million, and another job. And look, I've seen pictures of this girl. She's 20. She's super duper hot. But no ass is worth $50 million. Sorry. Ain't happening. And we're not going to show it on here. I was going to maybe show, but screw that. I'm not going to give that bitch any more publicity. But you think about it. She played this perfectly. And now, guess what she did? She's retired from Only Fools because she doesn't need it anymore. She's got $50 million in the bank. Her life is set. And Shannon Sharpe, I mean, does he really care? I mean, who cares? Who cares about Shannon Sharpe? I can't believe he has got $50 million to pay out. I mean, how much fucking money does he have? Think with the bigger head, gentlemen. I know it's easier said than done, but think with the bigger head and think like a man. Think logically. Don't think emotionally. Don't be like this arsonist guy. Don't be like Shannon Sharpe. You have a lot to lose. These women are filled with hell. They are daughters of Satan, every single one of them. Prove me wrong if you want. If you can. You can't. They will ruin and destroy your life like that. And they don't give a shit. Because they'll find a way, as their narcissistic ways go, they'll find a way to make it your fault. Trust me, this woman out over here with this guy Hayes, she's going to say he's abusive, he neglected me, yada, 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 yada. And that's why she jumped into the arms of another married man. You know what? First of all, that councilman isn't the only guy she's been banging. And so maybe she's the one who did the gasoline on her. But anyway, let me get out of here before I get into trouble. All right. Thanks again for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. And if you've seen anything over the past week or the past few months, I don't have to tell you that Satan is always busy. Be a man, have a backbone, because common sense and masculinity are worth standing up for. Be safe out there, gentlemen. I'll see you later.